Leaders of India's governing Bharatiya Janata Party criticized former US President Barack Obama for his recent remarks on Muslims in India. Mr. Obama said in an interview last week that India may start pulling apart if the rights of minorities weren't protected. He was responding to a question on how President Joe Biden should engage with illiberal Democrats. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in the U.S. on a state visit at the time. The 3-day visit was marked by a ceremonial welcome to the White House, a lavish state dinner, and the signing of several crucial deals. Mr. Modi also addressed a joint session of the U.S. Congress. Mr. Obama's remarks, made in an interview with CNN's Christian AM4, which was aired before the Congress address, were widely reported in India. Mrs. Zamanpur referred to the threat to democracy from so-called illiberal Democrats, before referring to Mr. Modi as one. How should a president engage with those kinds of leaders, either in the naming of them or in the dealing with them? She asked. Mr. Obama said it was complicated, before referring to his own experience dealing with allies who may not have run ideally democratic governments, but with whom relations had to be maintained for a number of reasons. He added that it was appropriate for the U.S. president, when possible, to challenge trends that are troubling either in public or private. If the president meets with Prime Minister Modi, then the protection of the Muslim minority in a majority Hindu India, that's something worth mentioning. If I had a conversation with Prime Minister Modi, who I know well, part of my argument would be that if you do not protect the rights of ethnic minorities in India, then there is a strong possibility that India at some point starts pulling apart, he said, adding that that would be contrary to India's interests. Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told reporters on Sunday that she was shocked by Mr. Obama's. When Mr. Obama's campaigning in the U.S., and by campaigning, I mean speaking about India. A former US president was speaking about Indian Muslims. She went on to say that India wanted good relations with the US, but there too, we get remarks about religious tolerance in India. Ms. Sitharaman added that the US had bombed Muslim majority countries, including Syria and Yemen, while Mr. Obama was in power. Mr. Obama and the US have not publicly commented on these remarks. In the U.S., Mr. Modi received a warm welcome from business leaders and members of the large and influential India diaspora. That includes many Silicon Valley CEOs. However, there were also protests against his government, which is led by the Hindu nationalist BJP, which has been accused of not doing enough to protect minorities from violence and discrimination. During his visit, 75 Democrats wrote a letter to Mr. Biden urging him to raise human rights issues with Mr. Modi. Some of them, including Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, boycotted his address to Congress. At a joint press conference with Mr. Biden, Mr. Modi also said that there was no space for any discrimination under his government in response to a question on rights of Muslims and other minorities in India. On Sunday, Mr. Modi tweeted his agreement with Mr. Biden's remarks on the friendship between the two countries being among the most consequential in the world. Mrs. Sitharaman's comments came days after a tweet by a BJP chief minister sparked controversy. Sam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma tweeted that there were many Hussein Obama in India itself who needed to be taken care of. He was responding to a journalist's sarcastic tweet asking whether a case had been filed against Mr. Obama for hurting sentiments. With his remarks on India, Mr. Obama's full name is Barack Hussein Obama. Some opposition politicians accused Mr. Sarma of issuing a veiled threat to India's Muslim population.